What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that you could have taken today, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So today is what we looked like. So right off of open, we ended up getting a big gap up, and that caused this 30-minute chart here on the puts to go negative. So we knew last week going into the close that the charts were pretty bearish looking, but we did have some news over the weekend which did rip us, and in turn we lost 50 SMA here, which made us likely to continue higher today. I go over this all the time. When one side loses the trend, it's likely that the other side is going to get a push. So in this case, the bears lost the trend, and that's going to move us in the opposite direction on the premium, which would be up, like to the upside on the call side. So obviously, when you look at the higher time frames, all of them were going negative. All of them lost higher time frame support. So off of open, this was likely to continue higher. And this is how you could have played it. Very simple day. So if we go here on the 0-day chart, pull up the 5-minute chart on the 0-day chart. This is the time frame we're always on for the 0DT chart. You can see right off of open, we end up getting this cross right here. Very, very clean. 10's going above the 50 here at open. We got this dip. Best entry would have been right here on this dip down to the 10 at like 0.7 or 0.8 on the contracts. Obviously, we didn't get the best entry in the world here off of the 10, but it came close enough to scale in. And again, this is kind of like a higher risk type of trade because it is right off the open, and these trades are definitely not the highest probability as a trade that would occur after 10 a.m. But this still played out with how the 30-minute looked. This wasn't a bad trade to take at all. Since the 30-minute chart's going negative, we know we're likely to continue higher, and we got this dip here to the 10. Honestly, you probably could have entered here at 9:35, but if you did give the market some time to settle, then by 9:45, 9:50, you could have bought some on this pullback. This would have been the best opportunity because chart was still extended from the SMAs a little bit. So if you bought this dip, if you were looking to take this cross, then this would have been the spot to do so here at 9:50, and you could see what happened. I mean, very, very clean chart. This just ended up ripping, and we didn't break the 10 SMA until all the way up here at 11:05. But obviously by this move up in here, I would have already been all out of that position because we are in a neutral market, and we know that by this 30-minute chart here. So on the 30-minute, we know 10's below the 50 here on the puts. We flip to the calls. Same thing, 10 was below the 50 at this time off of open. So 11 o'clock right here, we know that the 10 is below the 50. Ignore this right side of the chart, but earlier in the day, the market was still neutral. It still is neutral because this 10 SMA is above the 50, but the 50 is still trending down. So technically, it's still a neutral market. That's something you have to understand with these crosses. Even it's the same thing with the 0-day chart. For a valid cross to be valid on the 0-day chart, 10 has to go above the 50 with the 50 sloped up or flat at least. Same thing goes with the 30-minute. 10 goes above the 50. 50's got to be flat or sloped up. You can see it's trending down right now. So right now, not a valid cross. Tomorrow, we'll have to see if that could go cross and flip us bullish. So until that happens, market is neutral going into tomorrow. I'm not saying it can't go higher. We'll just have to see how we open up and see what this 50 looks like. So yeah, I mean, pretty simple day. There really wasn't much opportunity besides that opening cross, and I don't think Colton took it just because I know he stays out of the market usually first 15-30 minutes. I'm not sure if he took it or not, but I do know he did take this 30-minute reject on this chart. I mean, I'm surprised that this did break because we know market did go neutral. A lot of times it doesn't just flip from one trend to another, and with how hard this was sloped down, I was expecting this to reject, which it just didn't really give any sort of rejection. We hit it, it wicked off not even 10% on the contracts, only 1 to 2%, and then it just broke above the 50, and we just ripped higher today. So I'm a little surprised by that because we do also have Nvidia earnings. So I really wasn't expecting this to go and break above the 50, but it happened. And if you did take that trade, I mean, it's a smaller loss. Once we close above the 50, you would have closed that, and by the time if you entered on the 50 tap, this closed above here at 12:30, so 428 from 408. I mean, you're not losing much on that at all. So it was probably 20 25 points on an NQ, if that. But yeah, that's what you could have taken today. Again, if we go back to the 0-day chart, there was nothing else to take. I mean, besides this little cross here, this cross off of open, there's just no other trade setups. What I would have wanted would be a dip to the 50 and then a reclaim of the 10 SMA, which never happened. We got this closure below and then reclaimed it, but at this point, it's just not close enough to the 50 to play this reclaim of the 10 SMA. I want to see it come at least somewhat close to the 50 before it reclaims to take this as a trade. And two trade opportunities was this cross and then the 30-minute 50 reject, which didn't play out. So other than that, like I said, there's no other trades you could have taken today. Going into tomorrow, market is neutral, like I said, because on the call side, or on the put side at first. 10 below the 50, we're neutral there, and then we flip to the calls, same thing. 10 is above the 50, but the 50 is sloped down. Like I said, it has to be flat, and I gauge this just by looking at the the grid in the background. So like this dotted line going across is kind of how you would judge when it's flat or not. As you can see, it is still sloped down, very easy to see that. Tomorrow, if we do gap up and this curls, then the market will be bullish, and then we'll be focused on the long side. So it's very simple plan going into tomorrow. If we're bullish, focus will be on the longs, which means 0-day cross on calls, like just what we had today, and then 50 dip on the calls, which would just be a simple dip on the 0-day chart. So for example, if tomorrow we flip bullish, and this is the exact chart of what it looks like if we were bullish, you'd wait for this dip to the 50 and you just buy the 50 SMA dip. Or if it comes close enough, it bounces, reclaims the 10, you could obviously add some more on the reclaim of the 10. Or if, like I said, it doesn't come close enough to the 50, just wait for the reclaim of the 10 SMA, and then you could grab some long as well. So that's the plan for tomorrow. If we're bullish, if we're neutral, very simple. It'd be a 0-day cross on either side of the premium. So tomorrow, if we were neutral still, most likely, then it would be a cross on the puts, unless we kind of open flat and then rip and the 50 curls from there. But yeah, 0-day cross either side of the premium if we're neutral. If we're bullish, focus on the long, 0-day cross on calls, 50 dip on calls. Very simple plan. It's not really hard to just use your eyes and look at the chart. If we're if that 50 curls, we're bullish. If it doesn't, we're neutral. And yeah, I just gave you guys the two scenarios for what to look for tomorrow. That's a good thing about the system. Doesn't matter like where the market goes, there's always a setup to catch either direction, unless we're in a big trend and the trend gives out and we do dump a lot. But most of the time we're able to catch, doesn't matter what move or where we go. So yeah, it's plan for tomorrow. So what we did today. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. That's where all the trades are shared. All the info on the system is in there if you want to learn. And yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.